King Charles plans to snub Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on his US visit.
And finally, the trip is already raising questions here over whether the king will take the opportunity while in America to see his son, Prince Harry, who told me last year that he wants reconciliation, fearing how much time he may have left to mend fences with his father.
We are kicking things off with this massive breaking story today. King Charles is officially set to snub Prince Harry and Meghan Markle during his upcoming visit to the US. Even the BBC has been forced to admit the cold, hard truth. There is absolutely no chance of a reconciliation happening on this trip, when even the national broadcaster, which usually tries to play both sides, is essentially confirming that a meeting is off the table. You know the situation is terminal. They're acknowledging that the schedule is locked, the palace has no interest, and the door is officially shut. It's a rare moment of reality from them, confirming that the divide between the king and his son is now a permanent fixture of this tour.
The royal family are aware that they play a vital role in cementing relationships between countries, and they are used to dealing with difficult situations. The government will hope the royal touch will help ease tensions between the UK and the US. There's also likely to be interest in whether the king will meet his son Prince Harry while they're in the same country. The palace says the focus will firmly be on the United States, marking its 250th anniversary of independence this year.
The pressure on King Charles right now is making this US trip an absolute minefield. There is this massive coordinated push from the left for him to meet with the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein while he's on American soil. Now, we can all agree that's a terrible idea for the monarchy, especially considering the ongoing police investigation into Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Rebecca English over at the Daily Mail is reporting that while the king has no plans to meet these survivors next month, he hasn't officially slammed the door on a future meeting. The Royal News Network is backing that up, saying there's zero reason for Charles to get involved in a situation that has nothing to do with him. It would just be a massive, awkward distraction that would almost certainly go sideways. But here's the subtle part. English noticed the palace used the phrase "will not be able to" instead of just "will not." That's a massive distinction. It suggests that while the door is closed for now, the monarch is keeping his options open for the future. It's a total tightrope walk for Charles, and the whole thing is being made 1,000 times harder because detectives investigating both Andrew and Lord Mandelson have officially asked Crown prosecutors for early investigative advice. Let me translate that for you. That is catastrophic news for both Andrew and Mandelson. In the legal world, if the police don't think there's a case, they don't pass the file to the CPS. The fact that they're talking to top prosecutors means they think they've got something. And while all of this legal chaos is unfolding, Charles is also having to deal with an increasingly unhinged Prince Harry. Just last night in DC, Harry was at the IAPP Global Summit, taking his grievance tour to a whole new level, with what I can only describe as a deranged campaign centered on censoring the internet and the media.
The challenge ahead of us all is significant and worthy of our attention. For anyone outside of this room thinking it won't affect them, think again. The good news, we are confronting this challenge and we are stronger together. When taking on powerful institutions, it is like turning an oil tanker. And you just have to stick with it. And the longer you stick with it, the more you stick with it, and the more you come together to achieve that goal, the faster it will happen. And by this point, it's already taken far too long, but I do feel like we're on the cusp of something transformational.
Seriously, does anyone actually understand what this guy's talking about? I honestly don't think he even knows, because while he's up there lecturing us, the real story is what's been breaking over the last 24 hours. It's been revealed that Prince Harry reportedly had a fling with a reporter for the Mail on Sunday. Yeah, the same tabloid empire he spent years suing and claiming to despise. And then you've got Meghan Markle. Meghan is out here using her Instagram account, you know, the same kind of social media platform Harry claims is a toxic wasteland that should be shut down, to pitch her new products to the world. It's like these two can't keep their stories straight. One minute social media is the enemy of humanity, and the next it's the primary storefront for the Sussex brand. Everything about these two is just layers of hypocrisy. Now, before we go any further, I need you to do something for me right now. It is totally free, it's easy, and it's the best way to keep this channel going. Just hit that subscribe button. Look, over 50% of you watching right now haven't actually subscribed yet, and hitting that button is how we stay alive. We are totally independent. No big tech giants backing us, no billionaires pulling the strings or telling us what we can't say. If you want the truth they aren't allowed to tell, subscribe and turn on that bell so you get alerted every time we drop a new video. Seriously, could she be any more condescending? There is absolutely nothing complicated about it, Meghan. It's actually incredibly simple. What is complicated, however, is the fact that your husband is currently in Washington, D.C., launching a crusade to censor the internet and shut down platforms like Instagram, all while you're busy using those exact same platforms to pimp out your failing lifestyle products. It makes zero sense. There is massive political pressure on the royal family right now, and frankly, I think the way they're playing both sides is highly inappropriate. And can we talk about who has really disappointed me in the last 24 hours? David Dimbleby. I used to think the guy was a legend, one of the few voices at the British bashing corporation you could actually trust. But not anymore. He showed his true political colours last night when the BBC gave him a prime spot on Newsnight to trash the upcoming state visit. He spent the whole time hurling personal insults at Trump, calling him a narcissist and a bully. It turns out Dimbleby is just another BBC lefty doing the establishment's dirty work. Just watch this clip.
We're dealing with a president who is a narcissist and a bully. And he's been bullying Britain. He's been rude about the armed forces, about our role in Afghanistan. The king is head of the armed forces. And I think a rebuke of some kind is necessary. I don't see that the full panoply of a state banquet and a speech at Congress is appropriate. I think it's a misuse of the king, who has to do what he's told by the government. But I think it's giving Trump more than he deserves.
Look, Dimbleby, you are absolutely torching your reputation here. Any shred of political neutrality you had left just went right out the window. For a guy who was supposed to be the gold standard of objective broadcasting, watching him dive headfirst into this partisan hit job is just embarrassing. He's showing the world that he's just another talking head for the establishment, and frankly, there's no coming back from that.
Would suggest that now Trump has gone rogue on the war in Iran, and he's behaved, well, brutally truthful. He's been sort of disparaging Britain's role and NATO's role and Europe's role. It's a very bad political moment to send him the present of the king with all the panoply that involves, and a state banquet while he's bombing the hell out of Iran. And people are dying all over the Middle East, a state banquet for the king? Really? No. It would have been appropriate, I think, to have said, quite simply to the president, through the usual channels, look, this is probably not quite the right moment for the king to come here.
Donald Trump has just weighed in on the entire royal situation during an interview with the Daily Telegraph. In a move that is going to send shockwaves through Downing Street, the US president suggested that King Charles would have actually stood by him regarding the war in Iran. Trump didn't hold back, implying that the king would have taken a far more decisive stand than slippery Starmer has. According to the new quotes just released, Trump told the Telegraph, and this is specifically about Charles, "I like him. I always liked him as a prince. He's a good man, a great representative for your country." He went on to say that while he believes the king would have handled the Iran situation differently, he respects that the monarch stays out of the political fray, calling him a great gentleman. The drama surrounding this state visit is just off the charts. You almost have to feel for King Charles because he's being pulled in a dozen different directions.